Good morning, Pink Girly here. Today I'm just going to have fun in my craft room. I'm going to work on a mixed media piece, which will probably use some watercolor, some acrylics, some gesso, some glue, all kinds of things to try to make a whimsical watercolor piece. I follow on YouTube and on Instagram a gal by the name of Tamara Laporte. I love her work. She's amazing. And she does this kind of whimsical looking art. And you have to look her up. She's just incredible. And she did a couple of bugs, and so I kind of mimicked and jumped off of what she did as far as bugs, and I did several. And this is my ladybug, and this is the kind of style she works in, which I just absolutely love. So I was at my sister's a few months ago now, and she has a pillow with some birds on it, so I thought, it would be fun to do some birds. So while I was there, I sketched out what her pillow looks like. It kind of looked like this. So this kind of gave me the idea. And so then this morning I resketched that on a piece of watercolor paper. I believe this is cold press. I don't know a lot about watercoloring. Really, I just kind of like Tamara's work, and from there kind of jumped in. I can appreciate watercolor art, but for me to actually personally do like a landscape or something, or seascape, at least at this point in my life, I'm just not interested in that. But I'm interested in this kind of mixed media, funky, whimsical kind of art. And so if you'd like to see some of the other pieces that I did, you can find me on Instagram under Pink Girly. I have my work posted there. And today I'm going to use my Tombow markers, which are water-based markers. I mostly have pastel colors. This is a medium that I just kind of keep adding some pieces to. I need to get some more intense colors, but these will do me. And I have maybe I guess a little more than a dozen Neo 2 color crayons. This is what these are. And these are watercolor. And you just use your brush or a water brush and take the color off. And you can also smear it or scribble it on a palette or your work surface if you have one of these reusable, work mats. And then you can pick up as much color as you want. And then, of course, work it into your piece. And this is, I just got this. I needed a few more watercolors, mostly white, and a couple more base colors. And so this is by Winsor and Newton. It does have a little water brush that came with it, but I don't know where I put that. So I have that to use, and then I have a few watercolor brushes, and then I have my acrylic brushes handy here. I will tell you that if you pick up the Jane Davenport water brushes and you're trying to get them open to fill them with water, twist them opposite how you think they should work, because I had a heck of a time. I could not get them to open, and finally my husband thought, let's twist them the other way, and sure enough, that was the trick. So that's a little tip for you. That I couldn't believe that. But anyway, so if you pick those up, you'll want to twist them opposite to get them open and fill them up. And like I said, I'm using this watercolor paper. I think it's cold pressed because it's not real rough. It doesn't have a lot of tooth. It's real smooth. This is the 9x12. And I don't know if you can see, but this morning I marked off a 1/2 inch edge around the piece. before I started to sketch, because when I did my bugs, I don't know if I still have this open. No, I don't. Here we go. My grasshopper, I put this cute little border around it, but then when I put it in a frame, we kind of, oops, sorry about that. We kind of lost the framing. So I need to try to remember to leave myself a little bit of an edge when I'm working on a piece of paper. And you should also be mindful of the size that you're working on so you can find a frame. Those other pieces are an odd size, so I had a little trouble there too. So just a heads up, maybe you can avoid some crazy moments if I can give you a few tips. So this morning I just sketched out my birds. These are all really very simple shapes. I erase a lot, and so this is what I'm going to go with to start my birds on a wire. I haven't thought a whole lot about colors, but I think I want this guy in the center to look more like a robin. So if you're not familiar with using a water brush, and my experience is very limited, you just give it a little squeeze and get those bristles moist, and then you can go from there. And then it depends on how intense you want your color. Of course, the other thing to remember is that the watercolor paper is going to take a lot of water, but if you want to intensify your color, you need to let it dry in between coats. So I'm just going to get going here, and for right now, I'm just going to brush this brush, and I have my little palette over here so I can put out some color. And like I said too, we can scribble it, and then you can go in and use it like a paint palette. So this color here I'm using is called Ochre, and this is the Neo 2. I don't know if you can see that. Sometimes these labels are hard to see. Ochre. And I'm going to make this guy's tummy. Got a little something on there. Yellow ochre. I'm going to just base in my colors initially. Just get this going. I'm not too quick at this because this really is kind of a new medium for me. Now Tam says that she doesn't worry so much about the graphite from the pencil, because she kind of helps her, and she uses it as her shading. So then when you're done with the color that you're using on your water brush, to clean that off, you just give it a little squeeze and wipe it on a tissue or a paper towel. And I'm going to do mostly like a sky around the birds. This color is called Purple. It's probably better if I scribble on my palette, because then I don't want my colors too intense initially. And you can add water too. Like, see this one, I just added some, squeezed my water brush and added some water, because I don't want my color too intense, because then I can come back and I can add shadows. I'm not too good at adding the highlights. That's why I mostly picked up the Newton & Windsor little watercolor palette, because it has white in it. I picked up a really inexpensive set, oh gosh, a while back in one of the craft stores. It was only about $6, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's kind of fine, but I think the colors are feel kind of chalky, and these definitely have a different texture to them. So I'm really pleased with the way that the Neo 2s react, and the Windsor so far than my little cheap set. But if you want to mess around and just see if you like it, you know, for $6, and then if you have a coupon for $3, you can get a set of quite a few colors. I mean, I can show you those. Of course, I pulled off all the labels, so I don't even know what brand this is. But you can get quite a few colors. And that, you know, works. They really work fairly well, especially if you just want to see if you like it. All right. I think I'm going to put a little green. And this one is called, now these are all the Neo 2 watercolor crayons that I'm working with here. And this one is yellow green. And I'm going to do the tummy of this guy over here on the end. Yellow green. Now you can buy full sets of these. But a little while back I just picked out some colors that I wanted. Some of the sets, and they're pricey, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it. So I didn't really want to buy a set per se. So a lot of times I go to, so I should have erased that line there, Dick Blick, and buy art supplies. It's where I replenish my Prismacolors, because you can pick out what you want and you get a decent price for really whatever you're shopping for, brushes, paper, whatever. And you can pick out the colors that you want. And I mostly wanted colors that I could use for skin tones and flesh, and then doing some, you know, funky kind of art. So I wanted to pick out my own colors. This one here is canary yellow. And I'm going to come in behind this guy. I keep picking up little fuzzies. I'm not sure where they're coming from. Now you want to be careful, I think anyway, unless you really know what you're doing, to not squeeze your water brush on your paper. Unless maybe if you're in the background or a big area and you want to water something down and move the paint around, I guess that would be good. But you have to keep that in mind when you're, see, now I just smeared that with my finger. Not good. I want to erase, I've got some extra little lines in that flower. See, I want to erase that, but I want to wait until that dries up a little bit. Let's see, what other colors do we have here? I think, clean off my brush. Because you always can add and layer colors on top of color. And I'm just really kind of getting used to my new watercolors. Now this is Rose of the Neo 2. I think I'm going to make this little gal pink. You want to keep in mind your shadowing, you know, which way you think the light's hitting your picture. Tamara does a lot of doodling, which is fun. I started in one of my little journals a page of doodling so I can have a reference, because I don't always remember what looks cute together. And sometimes you want to use something different other than just stars and hearts. Well, maybe she looks a little too Eastery, but we'll see how that goes. And then I want to pick out a blue. This blue is turquoise, blue turquoise. And let's see, I'll start down here because I want the color to be a little more intense down underneath that little wing. I have other things I could be doing for my booth in my in the co-op. Should be getting some Easter things together, some Easter light bulbs. But I felt like having a day of fun. And I thought I'm just going to let the camera roll and see what happens. Okay, so he looks okay. And then maybe we'll do, I think I'll do a little bit of brown. This guy on the end. But I want to lighten that up because I don't want him too terribly dark. So just put a light coat on him. I think I need a little more than that. At some point I might need to get my heat gun out. Dry this area. Now I'm not sure, I was thinking about I would do maybe some houses across the bottom. But I'm still thinking about that. I'm not sure. Go right over that wing. Okay, that looks cute. I don't know how I ended up with a couple different Tombow marker sets that are the same color. And by the time you spend the shipping to send it back, it was cheaper to keep them. So I have a set in where I do my coloring in the evening, and then I have a few out here in my workspace. So I think I'm going to use they don't have names of colors on the Tombows, but this is number 620. It's a lavender looking color. And I'm just going to put some of this down. And then I'm going to take my water brush and move it around a bit. I love purple and green together. Not sure that's working as well as I thought it would. When you watch Tamara work on her pieces, she makes it look so easy. Just like I've mentioned a few of my videos, I watch and follow Dee Dee Willingham. She makes it look easy too, the things she does, but I struggle a bit. But I have the will to learn, so I just keep at it. Now if I want to add more of this, that's not looking so great. So I'm going to give it a little hit with the heat gun. Heat gun. And if it feels damp or cool to the touch, it's still not quite dry. So you want to keep that in mind. So we can come back to that guy. Just want to kind of base in some colors. Just perusing what else I have here to work with, because I am a little limited. That's another ochre color. See these little in the Windsor set. Well, let me see. They come in these like little troughs, and then real small. They have real small print here that tells you what colors they are. This is burnt sienna. And then they come out of these little trays too. This is turquoise. Let me see what this color looks like. Oh, wow. That looks like an Easter egg color. Look at that. Can you see that? Look how pretty that is. All right, let's use a little bit of that. I'm going to water that down quite a bit. And then you can mix these. Like if I wanted to mix this with a yellow and get more of a green color, and a little bit really goes a long way. Boy, that's really intense. That's fabulous. Look at this. Isn't that cool? I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to do this guy turquoise. And I'm just going to go over. Probably shouldn't have gone over his eye, but I'll probably do those black anyway. And then I have some other, I'm so easily enabled. I also have a tray of watercolors that are different golds and silvers, so I can use that for this little guy's crown. Just gonna brush that really haphazardly on his tail. Nothing real uniform. Oh, it was a pretty good choice. Pretty good choice. Now I think I'm going to use a little bit of this underneath this wing. To intensify that color. Make a shadow. And then you can keep moving that color because it's watercolor, and then when you, as you go along, you can lighten it up or add more once it dries. And then you can also take some of this off. See, it kind of got out of my line there, and I'm not liking that. I'm losing my edge, so I want to try to pick some of that up. I probably could do that with a paper towel too. Now see, I'm not an expert on this. This is very new to me. But if nothing else, maybe you can be encouraged. If you don't use or work in this medium, perhaps you would give it a go. And I'm just going to kind of move this and blend it out. I'll leave it lighter towards the center. And I flip my paper all around. I don't know. It probably will drive some of you crazy. And maybe I'll do a little bit under the eye. Just kind of. Like I said, I can come back and add to that. Alright, so I'm thinking maybe I generally do where the light comes from the left and the shadow will be on this side, but it doesn't look like I'm heading in that direction. don't know how much it really is going to matter on this kind of a piece. All right, I'm going to intensify this color here. Just going to add some of this purple. Doesn't look like purple to me. Looks more like a magenta. Now you also can, I'll have to show you on another one. Just use the Neo 2 and color in a place on your work with the Neo 2 crayon. And then I think maybe I'm going to want a little bit of orange in here. This is called Scarlet, but it's like an orangey red. And then I have this one, which is Vermilion. Oh, I love Vermilion. Let's try a little bit of that. I'll put some little Vermilion in here. And then I keep brushing off my, cleaning off my brush, especially when I want to kind of blend these colors out to the edge. Excuse me. This cough and cold is just really hanging on. And I used, I used the rose on this little gal here. Now I wanted to erase the inside of her flower. Probably do that, leave that white. And let's see, I can show you here what I mean about the Vermilion. So you can take your Neo color and just scribble some in there. The only thing you have to, if you are concerned about getting that line, like sometimes your scribble marks, you have a hard time removing those, is what I mean. See, but you can add that color right to your piece. And then just add some water. And apply it to your work. I'm going to add some more color to the side of this girl. Blend that across. And I'm going to come underneath of her tummy. And then I think I'm going to add some of that purple. Of course, what is this color here? This is, I think this is alizarin crimson. I should dry that, I think. Heat gun. Because if that's wet and I add another color, it's just gonna, I think, take away a lot of the color that I already put down. Now, of course, when I add more color, and I'm using the colors a little more intense than probably a watercolorist would use. And then if I squeeze my brush to get a little bit of water going, I want to do that away from my paper. I think I want to add a little red to the bottom of my, or to the side of my flower center there, and this is called Carmen. just intensify that a little bit. And then kind of I should have probably switched to a smaller brush. And then I want to create some shadows down there where the flower petals are. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So I'm going to come back to my ochre. I'm going to try my yellow ochre on my Windsor set. I'm just going to add some color in here. Intensify that a little bit. I like to add words too to my work, even my coloring pages or anything that I do. I don't know, I just really like it. So I have to think about what I might want to say on this piece. Maybe birds of a feather, I don't know. Friends, something about friends. All right, it makes sense to me to come this way. So I flipped him over. I used to do a lot of ceramics when I first started crafting. And oh gosh, I was always flipping stuff around. Oh, he's looking pretty cute. I definitely need more purple here. I think I'm going to try scrubbing that color along the edge there, and then just hitting it lightly with the water brush. And then I use the vermilion, I think. Just going to scribble a little. Did have him a little spot of color. Gotta figure out what I want to do with his back feathers. I'm not sure I like that brown. Oh, I need to come back to this here and see if I can. Of course, I could just color this in with the Tombow. Didn't get very good coverage there. Let's see how that goes. Poor thing, he looks like he's molting. Like his feathers are all falling out. It doesn't look so good, kids. I think I have some other kind of, that's a blue. I could pull these all out, but oh, that's my turquoise, so that's not what I want. And I do have my tweezers. I could get my tweezers out, but with my beautiful acrylic nails, I can't really pull those little trays out. to see what the colors are. This is Viridian Hue. No, oh, that's a green. Oh, that's a pretty green. Let's use that here. This guy's tummy. I kind of have to watch my time. We have friends coming for dinner, and I need to get a little bit of work done before they arrive. We have dinner in the crock pot, so that's not a problem. Lamp black. Don't want that guy. I think I have to make myself little stickers. And mark the top part of my little, oh, Payne's Gray. Yeah, I do like Payne's Gray. I don't know why I thought I had like a purpley. Well, maybe that's purpley color in that. Let's see here. We have a violet. Let's try this. See if we can resurrect this guy from looking too horrible. Once we get him all doodled up, he won't be too bad. I'll try to get him at least his skin color even. Now, the thing you have to try to remember when you're doing any of this stuff, whether you're making a scrapbook or trying to paint or drawing, and I'm guilty of this. My sisters keep telling me, you're too hard on yourself. It looks fine. So, especially if it's a new medium, don't be so hard on yourself. And my younger sister, she started, it's not a latch hook rug, but she's hooking a rug. It's really cute. And she's using, she bought a kit, I think off of Etsy, and she's just learning, and it's strips of wool. It's really cool. And she made a mistake and used the wrong color, and some of her loops weren't the same size. I said, hey, you know what? You're learning. Everything you pull out or start over or mistake you make, you learn for the next time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, this is aubergine. This is the color my girls wore in my wedding. I'm going to put some aubergine on the tail of this fella. That looks okay. Maybe I need a red bird. Let's see. Let's come back to this Carmen. I have stuff all over. Shocker. Let's make this guy a red bird. I think I might have rather have done a more orangey red, but we'll just base this in. I was thinking about putting a hat on this guy, but I didn't. I'll let him dry a little bit. We need some beak colors here. That's one thing about the less expensive kit I purchased. I have a lot more colors. I could always use some colors. I'll give her an orange beak. And I think I'll do the ochre color for these other beaks. Now I want to put a metallic gold for the crown, but I want to have a base color under there. I don't want to put that right over white. I think it'll pick up a lot better if I just base coat in some ochre on that. And then I think for this guy's little tail, this is called cobalt blue. I'm just going to make some streaks here. Kind of make that a little more intense. And then maybe I'll use a little bit of that along the side here. I always forget to look at my time. I want to start working on the background because I can always add color here and intensify. I'll put some under this guy's eyes, I think. And I'm going to do some striping here. So I'm going to put a little bit underneath here. Sometimes I think I get the color intense and then I take it away because I mess around with it too much. I think this guy in the end still looks like he needs some help. I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix that guy. Okay, that's dry, so I'm going to add some more color here. And when you take the color right from the crayon, you're going to get more of an intense color. I want it a little darker under where the crown is sitting. And the reason I'm going back and forth from bird to bird is because when I put some of that color on, you want to make sure that dries before you hit it again if you're trying to increase the coloration. I'm going to take some of my cinnamon here and come alongside of this guy and see if I can darken that up a little bit. Give him a little more of a shadow. That looks good. I mean, just keep at it until you like what you have. At some point, you're going to get where you mess with it so much, you're just going to say, ugh, it's just going to stay the way it is. Alright, so I'm starting to think about my background on my sky. I mostly want it blue, but I also maybe want some pink and some purple in there. I don't know, maybe some green. Maybe more green at the bottom into blue. I think I'm going to add some of this green. This is Neo 2. This is called moss green. It's more of an olivey green kind of color. I'm going to add some of that in here. This guy. You know, I'm really not liking that purple. So I feel like I need something dark to go over. This here is the heck color is that? Malachite green. It's like a dark teal. I don't know if this is going to make it worse. Well, sometimes there's an ugly duckling, right? I'd have to give this one a hat. See, my inexperience, I don't really know how to fix it. But maybe it doesn't look as bad to you as it does to me. Maybe I should hold it up and you could see it better. I did have a little wing over here. I want to make sure I stay dark underneath the beak. I don't know. What do you think? It dries pretty quick. I'm going to darken this side. Oh, look at there. I didn't have all that blended in. Alright, I'm going to use my heat gun in a minute for a second. Gotta scribble some of this in. Try to intensify that color. It's like kind of an olivey green. Well, I'm not too sure about that. And I think this little gal needs some more intense color here. I'm right across the bottom. Now I tend to think that I want the dark color on the outside of the picture and light in, but Tamara does it different. She does it, and I'm sure she's right. You want some intense color around your images, and then it kind of fades out to the lighter colors. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. And I think this guy still needs some more red. So I'm using the alizarin crimson from the Winsor Newton watercolor palette. Got the little wings there. And sometimes purple is good to deepen or give shadows to reds. Reds can be hard. I want to put a little bit under his beak. See, now I kind of have like an acrylic painter's mind, so I think you probably should have a different mindset when you do watercolor. And let's see, I don't know if that's too, yeah, it's that color. I think I want to put a little deep color. That's not my turquoise though. There we go. I definitely have to put some labels on those colors. Maybe the other side too. I don't want him to look like he has black eyes or a bit punched in the nose. And I want to give them some little rosy cheeks too. I think I'm losing my eye there. I think I want this yellow green. I'll give this little guy a yellow green eye. Now I only really have, let's see how this looks. If I do a little pink cheek here, not sure that looks like a pink cheek. And maybe a little red there. His eye will be black. This guy's eye will be black. I think I need some kind of intense color along the back side of, I wonder what this Payne's Gray would do. Yeah, that might be a little too much. I wonder about this here. This is that burnt sienna. That's a nice color. Well, you know what? You could spend hours doing this. Especially when you're just learning, you don't really know what you're doing. Put a little yellow down there on his tummy. Maybe we'll put a little yellow here too. This guy's tummy. I don't even know what to do with. I don't even know what to say about this guy on the end. Poor thing. And I think I want two little cheeks there. All right. I really should have a big brush to do this background. And I don't want to use a great brush because I'm probably going to be scrubbing. So I'm just going to use this, this is a low Cornell filbert brush. I love a filbert brush. Filbert and an angle brush are my favorites. So I'm just going to start picking up different colors and scrubbing them in. Let's see. I have this light blue. Maybe I'm going to use this to just get a base down. This is called Blue Turquoise, but it's my lightest blue shade I think I have. So I'm just going to start, scrubbing in just to kind of get a base coat down. Can't seem to get enough. That's what's nice about the Winsor Newton palette, is that it's easy to grab that color when you want a lot of it at once. I think I'm getting into some my yellow ochre here. So for now, I'm just slopping this in. And then I think I'm going to take some of my Neos and just scrub some colors in different spots so I can intensify my color. I want to get some down in here. But I tell you, we have our dinner in a crock pot. Boy, it smells great. Oh, I picked up some of that color from that little bird. Got some yellow there. All right, I'm going to hit that with my heat gun. It's still a little damp to the touch. So I want to make sure I dry that well. Okay. Now I don't want a whole lot of crazy colors. I don't want too many crazy things in the sky. So I definitely want some darker blue. And this is the cobalt blue. This isn't, this is like, I think I want this malachite green kind of color. And I'm going to put some of that under here. And I don't want to lose my wire either. Put some of that here. I'll scribble some of that down here. And maybe a little up here. And then I want some pink. So I'm going to put some pink here. Maybe some intense pink here. And then the blue that we used, I'll intensify some of that under here. Put that there. I have no idea what I'm doing. And this is that purple. Let's get some purple in here. I think I got to try to lighten this guy up a little bit. So let's just do a little bit of yellow around him. See how that works. Now I don't want to muddy these colors, so I'm just going to go and paint over them with a wet brush. And I don't want too many of those lines. I want to kind of smudge those out. But I don't want to take my brush here that was in this blue and then go into the pink, because that'll make a different color. So I'm going to go all around my page where I put that blue. And I wanted that color more intense, so I'm not going to spread that out too much. Same like over here. And I want to get some under his beak. I'm just being careful not to get into that pink. And then I still have some up here. And then I can come back and intensify this too once I see what's what. Now I'm going to go into this darker, this malachite green. I'm liking that color. And I'm going to come up around here and just trying to be as careful as I can because I don't want to lose the edge of my bird. I'm going to bring that up. This is not the best brush. Under that little wing. Now if that mixes with the yellow, that's not too bad because that's going to make a green, which, you know, that's not going to be too bad. But if I mix this, that blue with the pink, well, it's like kind of a rose color. I think that would kind of look more, they say muddy, not a nice vibrant color. And then if I want to lessen that color and not have it as intense, I just am adding more water. I'll scoop around our ugly duckling there. And just remember, if you go into your object, whatever you're doing, if you're doing bugs or birds or flowers, because it's watercolor, some of it's going to move on you. So you want to kind of keep that in mind. Looks like a hot mess right now, right? And I have more of that dark color down here. See, I can sit all day and do this and get nothing else done, which is not good. Kind of connecting those two. And then I've got some of that malachite blue under here. I don't know if it's malachite blue or green. Right up next to that tail feather. Now I don't want to get the blue too close to that guy because it's gonna blend in. I've got that purple there. I didn't put a whole lot of purple on here. It's dry there. Maybe I'll put some of that down here. That's still wet. Maybe I'll put some over here. My water brushes are a little out of control. I have to get closer into these birds. Alright, so I want to make sure I get that blue off my brush. Let's see what this purple does for us. And I'm just going to feather that up into that tail feather. Kind of got that in on his body. looks pretty good. Maybe I'll put some of that purple down this corner. Now you can take it from here, like I said before, if you don't want to deal with this trying to get those streaks worked out. But for the background, I'm not too concerned about that streaking. It doesn't look too bad. Of course, I said I wanted more blue and green down here. I'm liking that malachite green, which really looks like a teal. Well, I guess teal is green. And then when that blends into that purple, it just makes like a different shade. I do like the yellow too that I added over here. I'm going to rub it closer to this guy, right around his head. See, and that made a cool green color. Okay, I'm rinsing off my brush because I want to come back in here, pick up some of this pink. I kind of made an orange. That's not bad. Got a little muddy over here on the side. Some of that might be from my, see, it's a little muddy there. Might be from the graphite, from a pencil. All right, I'm going to go into this rose color now. I'm going to put some of that in here. And I'm going to put some of that purple along here. Maybe around his head. Maybe I'll put some of that purple around this guy's head too. Oh, I wanted to get some yellow in here. And then once you get all your white space covered and it's like the way you want it, you just want to leave it alone. Still think I want my colors to be a little more intense. Now I could mix these two also on my palette. See, those pinks are going to mix okay together. It's just this particular rose color that I have. It's kind of muted. And I just think it would make my other colors muddy. It's not in the same family. Let's get into this yellow here. Drag some of that down and around. I'm going to bring some of that yellow down here. Just taking some off of the crayon. The more intense your color is, the more contrast you have, and that's usually a good thing. Now I kind of got over on this guy's feathers. I have some down here that I didn't add water to yet. And there's some over here by this little guy, up next to his crown. Probably I'm not going to do too much more with this today. I've got to grab some lunch and get my vacuuming done. Now I know it looks like a hot mess, but I think we can make this really cute before it's all said and done. So I might mess around with this background a little bit more and add some more colors, and I might intensify some colors on the birds. But then I'll do a second, oh look, I forgot some pink here, some purple. And tighten up my lines. And then I'll come back and I'll put some gesso on it and maybe some pages from a book. I really do like this Malachi green. So I think I'm going to say goodbye for right now. If you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see some of the other watercolor things that I've done, please follow me on Instagram. And thanks for joining me. I appreciate your watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.